A Metro Detroit native and multi-instrumentalist is releasing a new music video project in collaboration with legendary Detroit saxophonist Dave McMurray. We're lucky enough to be joined this morning by local artist Jake Bass. He's going to tell us more about his new single, Cookin' It Up. Jake, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
First, tell us a little bit about you. I mentioned that you were a multi-instrumentalist. Tell us a little bit about the range of instruments you play.
Yes, I play guitar, drums, bass, piano, and percussion.
And what drew you? I mean, how did you know that music was your thing? You can't play that many instruments without having a real passion for it.
Absolutely. I was about 8 years old when I started playing drums, and I just picked up that instrument naturally, and then piano came, then guitar came, all by ear.
Oh,
Everything
wow,
was
all by ear, my goodness. And what's your favorite of all the instruments you play and why?
Definitely piano. That's my foundational instrument, and I'm able to play any genre, any type of fun, whimsical piece on there. It's just an amazing instrument.
Now, you mentioned genre. Tell us a little bit about your new project, the Jakey B LP, and describe it for us.
Absolutely. So it's a jazz instrumental project, which it's my first jazz project, and I wanted to get some of the legendary people from Detroit, like Dave McMurray, on there. My dad, Jeff Bass, is on there. It was a passion project of mine. I always was a fan of jazz, and I had never in that world, and so this I fell in love immediately.
All right, so you're standing there with your, is that a guitar that's on the LP?
Yes, yes.
All right.
A jazz guitar.
Jazz guitar. Is that what you play on that LP?
Yes, that exact guitar.
Oh, wow. Okay. And
Yep.
so tell us a little bit about how you approach Dave McMurray, I mean, to get him on your LP.
Yes, well, it's a pretty amazing story. He was on my dad's jazz album back in 1997 when I was 7 years old. So I remember him coming to the studio when I was a kid on 8 Mile.
Hmm.
And, 20 years later, when I was working on my project, I was like, hey, let's collaborate and bring this thing full circle. And so we started working, and he's on 3 songs on my album.
All right, that is fantastic. And tell us a little bit about the inspiration. I mean, you told us, I mean, you're playing the jazz guitar. You have some legendary jazz musicians. What was the inspiration for creating this, and how does that come through in the music?
Absolutely. The inspiration came from my grandfather's passing. He was a huge jazz fan, and he always told me I needed to put a jazz record together because he knew that I was capable of it. And so when he passed, I was like, okay, I need to do this. And so I started writing, and they just started pouring out of me. And I play every instrument on the album unless it's a wind instrument.
All right, and that's when you are bringing in some guests. So that is amazing.
Absolutely.
So we'll be able to see your full range, not your full range, how broad a range you can, because I'm sure there are depths that you can't get to on every song, every album.
Yes.
So where can folks go if they want to find out more about you and buy your music? Even though we are going to have that video later in the show, where can people go though if they want more about you?
Absolutely. You can go to my website, which is bocajmusic.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Mr. Jake Bass. All the music is on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, every major platform.
All right, and we're going to give people a sneak peek at the music and the video coming up later on in this show. So I look forward to that, seeing the video, but also hearing that music, which is great on a Wednesday. So a little jazz in the morning.
Excellent. Appreciate it.
All right, Jake Bass, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really do appreciate it. And again, looking forward to seeing your video coming up in our next half hour.